Imagine a city so powerful that its roads stretched across continents, its armies conquered kingdoms, its engineers transformed landscapes, and its laws influenced civilizations thousands of years later. That city was Rome. At its height, the Roman Empire controlled an enormous territory surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, from Britain in the northwest to Egypt in the southeast, and from Spain in the west to regions of the Middle East. But Rome was not always an empire. It began as a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber River. According to Roman tradition, the city was founded in 753 BC by Romulus, one of the legendary twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. The historical reality was more gradual. Small communities developed around Rome's famous Seven Hills. Its location was strategically important. The Tiber River provided transportation and trade, while the surrounding hills offered natural protection. Rome first became a kingdom, but according to Roman tradition, the monarchy was overthrown around 509 BC. The Romans established a republic. This was a crucial turning point. The Roman Republic created political institutions that would influence the future of Western civilization. The Senate became a powerful political body. Elected magistrates governed the state, while citizen assemblies participated in important decisions. But Rome's greatest advantage was its military. Roman citizens could serve as soldiers, and Rome developed a disciplined system of warfare that allowed it to defeat one opponent after another. First, Rome conquered much of the Italian peninsula. Then, it faced a much more dangerous enemy: Carthage. Carthage was a wealthy North African power with a powerful navy and extensive commercial interests. The two civilizations fought three major conflicts known as the Punic Wars. The most terrifying moment came during the Second Punic War. Carthaginian commander Hannibal Barca launched an extraordinary invasion of Italy. He crossed the Alps with soldiers, horses, and even war elephants. Roman armies suffered devastating defeats. At the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC, Hannibal's forces destroyed a huge Roman army. For many states, such a defeat would have meant surrender. Rome refused. The Romans changed their strategy. Instead of constantly confronting Hannibal directly, they avoided giving him another decisive opportunity while attacking Carthaginian territory elsewhere. Eventually, the Roman general Scipio Africanus carried the war into North Africa. At the Battle of Zama in 202 BC, Scipio defeated Hannibal. Carthage was broken. Rome had survived its greatest rival. Now, nothing stood in the way of Roman expansion across the Mediterranean. Rome conquered Greece, Spain, North Africa, and large parts of the eastern Mediterranean. But success created a new problem. The Republic was becoming too powerful for its own political system. Conquest brought enormous wealth and millions of enslaved people into Roman society. Large estates expanded. Wealth became concentrated among powerful families. Many ordinary farmers struggled. Political competition became increasingly violent. And Rome's generals became more powerful because their soldiers could become personally loyal to their commanders. This was extremely dangerous, because when military loyalty became stronger than loyalty to political institutions, civil war became possible. Then came Julius Caesar. Caesar was an extraordinary military commander. He conquered Gaul, expanding Roman territory and building enormous personal wealth and popularity. But many senators feared that Caesar was becoming too powerful. His alliance with Pompey and Crassus collapsed. Political rivalry turned into civil war. In 49 BC, Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army. This was effectively a declaration of war against his political enemies. Caesar defeated his rivals and became the dominant figure in Rome. He introduced reforms, reorganized the calendar, expanded citizenship, and attempted to stabilize the Republic. But his enemies believed he wanted to become king. On March 15th, 44 BC, known as the Ides of March, a group of senators assassinated Caesar. They believed killing him would restore the Republic. Instead, they created another civil war. From that chaos emerged Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian. Octavian eventually defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. He became the undisputed ruler of Rome. But Octavian understood Roman political culture. Romans hated the idea of kings, so he did not openly call himself one. Instead, he preserved the appearance of republican government while concentrating enormous power in his own hands. In 27 BC, he received the title Augustus. He became the first Roman emperor. The Roman Republic had effectively become the Roman Empire. Under Augustus and many of his successors, Rome entered a remarkable period of stability. This period is often associated with the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. For roughly 2 centuries, large parts of the empire experienced relative political stability and economic growth. Roman roads connected distant provinces. Aqueducts carried water into cities. Bridges crossed rivers. Ports connected the Mediterranean world. Roman engineers built amphitheaters, temples, bathhouses, bridges, and massive public buildings. The Colosseum became a symbol of Roman power. Inside it, enormous crowds watched gladiatorial contests and other spectacles. But the empire was more than monuments. Rome created an interconnected political and economic world. Grain from Egypt could feed the population of Rome. Olive oil from North Africa could reach distant provinces. Wine from Gaul and Spain could travel across the Mediterranean. Merchants moved between Europe, Africa, and Asia. People from different cultures became part of the Roman world. Roman citizenship expanded over time. Roman law developed into one of the most influential legal traditions in history. Latin spread throughout Western provinces and eventually evolved into languages such as Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Romanian. Rome appeared almost unstoppable. But beneath its greatness were serious weaknesses. The empire was enormous. Its borders stretched for thousands of kilometers. Millions of people needed to be governed. Armies needed to be paid. Roads and fortifications needed maintenance. Taxes had to be collected. And the empire depended heavily on political stability. When capable emperors ruled, the system could function extremely well. When emperors were weak, or ambitious generals challenged them, the entire empire could become unstable. This became especially dangerous during the 3rd century. From 235 to 284 AD, Rome experienced what historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. Emperors were assassinated. Generals fought for the throne. Civil wars spread. Foreign enemies attacked the borders. Economic problems increased. The empire temporarily fractured into competing political regions. Rome appeared close to collapse. Then came Diocletian. He became emperor in 284 AD and introduced major reforms. He strengthened the army. He reorganized imperial administration. He divided responsibilities among multiple rulers. These reforms helped stabilize the empire. But another emperor would transform Rome in a different way: Constantine. Constantine became emperor after a series of civil wars. He supported Christianity. In 313 AD, the Edict of Milan allowed Christians to worship openly within the empire. Constantine later established Constantinople as a major imperial capital. Christianity continued to grow. By the end of the 4th century, it had become the official religion of the Roman Empire. At the same time, the empire was becoming increasingly divided between East and West. The eastern territories were generally wealthier, more urbanized, and economically stronger. The western territories faced increasing military and economic pressure. Then a new wave of migration transformed the Roman world. People whom Roman sources called barbarians began entering imperial territory in large numbers. Goths, Vandals, Franks, Suebi, and other groups moved across Europe. But the story was not simply Romans versus barbarians. Some of these peoples served in the Roman army. Some settled peacefully inside Roman territory. Others fought against Rome. The relationship was complicated. In 376 AD, large numbers of Goths crossed the Danube frontier. Tensions with Roman authorities eventually led to war. In 378 AD, the Roman army suffered a catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Adrianople. Emperor Valens was killed. The battle demonstrated that Rome's military superiority was no longer guaranteed. The pressure continued. In 410 AD, Visigoths under Alaric entered Rome and sacked the city. For centuries, Rome had been the symbol of imperial power. Now, an enemy army had entered the city itself. The psychological impact was enormous. Yet the empire continued. Another powerful leader then appeared on the European stage, Attila the Hun. His armies placed enormous pressure on the Roman world. In 451 AD, Roman and allied forces confronted Attila at the Battle of the Catalonian Plains. The Hunnic advance was stopped. The battle demonstrated that Rome's military superiority was no longer guaranteed. The pressure continued. In 410 AD, Visigoths under Alaric entered Rome and sacked the city. For centuries, Rome had been the symbol of imperial power. Now, an enemy army had entered the city itself. The psychological impact was enormous. Yet the empire continued. Another powerful leader then appeared on the European stage, Attila the Hun. His armies placed enormous pressure on the Roman world. In 451 AD, Roman and allied forces confronted Attila at the Battle of the Catalonian Plains. The Hunnic advance was stopped. But Rome's deeper problems remained. The Western Empire was losing territory. Tax revenues were declining. Political instability continued. The government struggled to maintain the army. Military commanders increasingly controlled political power. The emperor himself was often little more than a figurehead. And this is one of the most important facts about the fall of Rome. The Western Roman Empire did not collapse because of one battle. It did not disappear overnight. Its decline happened over generations. Political instability weakened the government. Economic problems reduced its ability to maintain armies. Civil wars consumed resources. Border pressures increased. Territories were lost. Tax revenue declined. And the Western government became increasingly dependent on powerful military commanders and foreign troops. In 455 AD, the Vandals sacked Rome. The symbolic center of the Western Empire was attacked again. By this point, the Western Empire had become dramatically smaller. Finally, in 476 AD, the Germanic military leader Odoacer deposed the young emperor Romulus Augustulus. This date is traditionally used as the end of the Western Roman Empire. But saying Rome fell in 476 can be misleading. The Roman Empire in the East continued for almost another 1,000 years. Its capital was Constantinople. Its people continued to identify themselves as Romans. The Eastern Roman Empire survived until 1453, when Constantinople was conquered by the Ottoman Turks.
So the Roman story did not simply end in 476. It transformed. And Rome's influence survived in ways that are still visible today. Roman law influenced modern legal systems. Roman political concepts influenced later governments. Roman architecture inspired buildings around the world. Roman engineering demonstrated how roads, bridges, aqueducts, and cities could be designed on an enormous scale. Latin became the foundation of several modern European languages. Roman Christianity became one of the most important forces in European history.
Even the idea of an empire spanning different peoples and cultures became a model for later civilizations. But perhaps Rome's greatest lesson is not about conquest. It is about power. Rome demonstrated that military strength can build an empire. Engineering can connect it. Law can organize it. Trade can enrich it. And political institutions can hold it together. But power alone cannot guarantee survival. An empire can become so large that defending it becomes extraordinarily expensive. Political competition can become more dangerous than foreign enemies. Economic inequality can weaken social stability. And when institutions become too fragile, even the strongest state can gradually lose its ability to respond to crisis. Rome rose from a small settlement beside the Tiber River. It became a republic. The republic became a Mediterranean superpower. And the superpower became one of the greatest empires in human history. Its armies conquered. Its engineers built. Its merchants connected continents. Its laws influenced generations. Its emperors ruled millions. But eventually, the Western Empire could no longer overcome the problems building inside and outside its borders. In 476 AD, the Western imperial throne disappeared. But Rome itself did not disappear. Its roads remained. Its cities remained. Its language remained. Its laws remained, its ideas remained, and its legacy continued to shape the world. The Roman Empire fell, but Rome never truly vanished. Because empires can disappear from maps, while their influence can survive for thousands of years. That is the extraordinary story of Rome.